Pagoo, Chapter 18, Down to the Depths of Deep Hole. The landlady halted her wobbling on Snail Cousin's rock. Now who could that be, whizzing by her so fast? He pretty near upset Traveling Towers, he did. Headed for Muscle Ridge, looks like. If he doesn't slow up, Deep Hole is waiting next. Last stop for ration hermits like him. Oh well, here today, gone tomorrow. Landlady or no landlady, Pagoo did not fall headlong into the deep hole. That is, not at first. The hermit gang had given up chasing him, so he slowed to a stop on Muscle Ridge. Right here he had studied his first muscles. He first had climbed a barnacle, and over there at the edge of the rock the purple starfish had crept up toward him out of Deep Hole. Deep Hole! What was his fear of it? Pagoo crawled to the brink, braced himself on a lacy frond, and peered down. One thing not needed at this jittery moment was Big Head the Sculpin. Yet here he came swooping, trailing bubbles, aiming straight for Pagoo. Those horrible jaws! Pagoo had passed through that gateway before. In and out. Now that he was about to be gulped again, this time he might have to stay inside. The awful mouth coming at him seemed to yawn wider than Deep Hole itself. Pagoo, flat on the lacy frond, clutched at one edge with 2 feet and a claw, leg muscles twitching in terror. His legs jerked him right under the edge and dangled him from the frond as Big Head swooshed over. Against the blue blankness of Deep Hole, the head-heavy fish with the tapering tail looked like a plane overshooting its target. It banked, it rolled, it returned full throttle. But where was that juicy little hermit? Pagoo's lacy frond was a dead section of an eating bush, a biosian. His frantic dodging had snapped the stem off like a stick of candy. The brittle lace, Pagoo dangling from it, flopped over and over like a leaf, zigzagging down into the depths of Deep Hole. Big Head slowed, twisted his body, and followed the branch down. His fidgety tail and pitchfork fins kept working in jerks, waiting for the hanging Pagoo to swing into rage. But his timing was off as he charged the frond on a wrong turning, and Pagoo let go just as Big Head struck. The sculpin scooped up a mouthful of stuff as crumbly as plaster, while Pagoo, losing his parachute, dropped like a stone. Big Head, near the surface, was still groping about in a flurry of torn lace when Pagoo struck bottom far below. It was a soft mud bottom, handy for landing in and digging under backward. Pagoo dug. Disgusted, Big Head vanished to higher tide pools. When he did not return, Pagoo raised himself from the mud. So this was Deep Hole he had dreaded. With Big Head gone, what was left to dread? Pagoo noticed that muscles were larger here. As if to go with the larger muscles, he saw a whopping big starfish tube-footing his way across the bare sea bottom. Starfish were old stuff to Pagoo, yet he jerked into the mud again when a shadow moved in the weeds. "Nope," said Old Instinct at his elbow. "Don't you fear that moray eel. He looks horrible, but he's nearsighted and doesn't bother hermits. Morays are after that thing with the long arms you haven't seen yet, but you'll know soon enough. Now stay put, son," he said, chattering on. The time passed by so slowly. Old Instinct had become quite boring. Stay put, he had advised, but Pagoo left. He squeezed himself up from the sticky mud, plowed a furrow across it to a great standing rock, and began cleaning himself. He scrubbed and he rubbed and he whisked with bristles, and he came out fresh and new again. He had just brushed the knob of a knee for its final polish when one wandering eye showed him a shell. Watch out, called Instinct. But Pagoo smothered the call, for beyond that shell lay another, a path of snail shells leading around the base of the rock. Pagoo dropped his cleaning brushes and all his caution and trailed those shells like a hound after rabbits, around the rock to heaps of shells. Shades of the grotto of eating trees. He had found a new grotto, a cave dented under the base of the rock. Only this time the shells lay not in the hollow, but out in the open for him to examine, as though something had pushed them out of the cave just for him. They lay outside like a motionless wave of hard, bubbly froth. Pagoo waded into that crisp froth, the shells rolling every which way. Pagoo stood up to his upper knees in treasures, busy as busy, trying them on for size. This one, no. That one, no. That over there, the black one, the turban with the sparkly, pearly top, oh, he did like that one. This time he made sure there were no hidden holes before he stepped in. Snug, perfect. It put that bright ending to Pagoo, that elegant finishing touch. Finishing touch is right. Son, I've been trying to tell you something. Yes, I know you needed that shell, but your fool's luck won't hold much longer. Scoot. Pagoo gave little heed. He was sleepy. Daylight was being turned off upstairs. The big round sun had gone out as usual. Layers of darkness were settling down in Deep Hole, and tiny twinkling lights of the sea were coming on. Far up at the surface, luminous flecks were dancing. Farther down, weed fronds waved sparklers. Tired, Pagoo merely glanced at the fireworks and turned toward the cave. He had had a very busy day. He would just walk into this quiet cave. But what was in here? He saw a faint glow at the back, becoming a shape like a great pale moon in a mist, a monstrous egg in a nest of long, pale, ropey, wiggly things. Pagoo moved sideways so slowly he seemed not to move at all. He edged into a dark crack. He pushed his shell far back. He stuffed himself farther back in his shell. He strained backward. He didn't want to look out, but of course his eyes would not shut. Those pale, wriggling things out there were tentacles. Old Instinct did not have to shout. Pagoo knew. Deep Hole held an ancient enemy of hermits, this octopus.